Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to the First Ones to Die podcast. It's the first episode of 2022. Happy New Year! Woo!
Woo! I don't have the streamers or anything to pop, but it.
Oh, I have something, but it's quite loud. I'll get it at the end. I've been wanting to pop it. It's just like I've had it for like 2 years now.
Regardless, however you celebrate, we hope you had a happy and safe New Year. Now on to another one. 2022. Here we go. How are y'all doing? We have Jerome here. We have Alex. We have me. We have the crew, and we have our special guest. I feel like you're not a special guest anymore. You're a recurring guest.
Yeah, you're like a
unofficial. I feel like Jazz is the unofficial fourth member of this podcast. Like she's been on
yeah, I think you claimed a current character rights now.
Right.
True. I've been upgraded.
Yes. Those royalties. Yes, it is Jazmine. How are you doing, Jazmine?
I'm well. I'm happy to be back. Excited to chat with y'all.
Yes. Always happy to have you. It's always nice to have another female. It's appreciated.
True.
There we go.
True. Need some girl power in here.
Yes.
Comment below, audience. Tell us how many more women we need on this podcast.
I think there's going to be an episode where I just kick both of you guys out, and I get to have a whole female panel. I think that'd be nice.
It. Like that'd be cool. You, Kaylee, and Jazmine, or you, another
ladies take over.
Girl and Jazmine.
Yeah,
I don't know. But me and Jonathan to take a vacation, take a break.
Well, transitioning from that, last year we did an episode on our 2021 expectations and our 2020 kind of like look back retrospective, where we talked about our favorite things and least favorite things from 2020 and the things that we were looking forward to in 2021, where I infamously brought up Malcolm and Marie for the very first time. And for those who have been listening
and all year, it's been nothing but a regret ever since we did this review. That review in February.
Although now we're turning the year, I'm kind of circling back. I have more of a favorable view of the film, so we're getting to that point. I'm excited to see which film I'm gonna stand and then unstand this year. So
I mean, you never know. It might work out. It might work out.
I mean, you haven't like gone completely off and been like, I hate it from when you loved it. You just got a more realistic view of it. I guess you could say. I don't know.
It's like, it's not that you stop believing in Santa Claus. You just realize there's more than one that's at a mall.
Hey, we may have young viewers on here.
I don't think.
No, probably. We do. We should not. I do. We should.
Our lowest age range is at least 19.
That's fair. That's probably reasonable. No, that's fair. But looking back, what was your guys's, or because I was not here, so I didn't get to do the look back or do the expectation part of the 2021.
Really quick, what would you have said for that expectations episode? Like, what would you have looked forward to this year?
I don't know, just because during that time that episode aired, the very beginning of the year, I wasn't in a good mindset.
That's fair.
Yeah, I can't really think about anything I was truly excited for this year. Maybe no, I got nothing.
Did anything come out, like now that we're at the end end of 2021, did anything come out that met your expectations?
I will say on Paramount, I want to say it is Paranormal Activity. They have Next of Kin. That was actually pretty spooky. That went beyond my expectations. I was like, oh God, Lord, what are they trying to do again with Paranormal Activity? But it was actually pretty decent, and some, jump scares actually got me in this one. So, that was actually surprisingly good. I mainly reconnected with Fairly Odd Parents because I got Paramount for a while. And that show's still so funny. And I was surprised that it was still so funny because sometimes you just look back and you're like, why was this cute or why was this? But that show actually still holds up fairly well. And it's just like, although they kind of dumbed Timmy Turner down a lot in the last season. I don't know what they were trying to do there, but it was actually, no, it's still a pretty good show. So there were shows that still had my expectation. And The Witcher season 2, which we will review. I was super excited for season 2 of my favorite character, Yaskier. Is that what I'm saying it correctly?
Yeah, Yaskier.
Yaskier appears.
Spelled with a J, but it's pronounced Yaskier.
Yeah, Yaskier. He is my all-time favorite character in that. And I learned he sings in a band too.
Does he?
Yeah.
I mean, he's a really good singer, so that's why I doesn't surprise me too much. But
yeah, The Amazing Devils, and it sounds exactly like the music he sings in The Witcher. So it's actually not too far off. So it's like, okay, that's actually real. And he has like an amazing voice, and his singing is
voice.
Great range. Yeah. So I mean, there was that parts that I got to see some shows and a couple of movies that did, surprise me a little bit.
Funny enough, you talking about Fairly Odd Parents. I talked a lot of trash, but I'm not gonna lie. I've been watching the new series Powerpuff Girls. That when they rebooted it, not gonna lie, it's not that bad actually. It's actually still pretty fun. No, that was released like a couple of years back. No, not the live action Powerpuff Girls thing. That's gonna be trash. No, but this no, they rebooted the cartoon a couple of years back and was trying to bring it back into the modern day. Like they've aged up the Powerpuff Girls. Now they're no longer in kindergarten. Now they're in like, I think like elementary school or middle school. But it's actually pretty decent. It's very funny. It still has like that villain of the week vibe. They added a new Powerpuff Girl who's like an adult. It's weird sounding, but once they explain the story of where she comes from, it's actually A, very funny, but B, also she's actually a really good character. So I like, it just showed me I need to give more cartoons a chance, I guess. When it comes to my childhood things, when they try to reboot it.
Does anybody have any standout thing, something that released this year, either in theaters, on streaming, on TV, that was like, this was amazing, I loved this, and I was all about it? Or just something, a highlight that happened this year, not necessarily in media.
Jazmine, we've talked a lot. Do you have something?
Yes, I do have something. For one of them, I'm making sure that it was this year. But my first one is, did y'all see The Night House?
No,
The Night
I wanted
House?
to.
But it's on my list.
Have I heard of that? Who's it with?
Rebecca Hall.
Oh, I saw the advertisements around that and it looked really good.
It was so good.
Oh.
I loved it. It was so good. It was so spooky. It really, I thought that it was like fresh and new.
Okay.
And I'm very picky about ghost stories.
Yeah, which is a little surprising come from what it was before the movie was released. It was like, oh, widow goes to like a cabin or like from what it was like said to me, like, oh, widow goes somewhere and then meets her like ghost of a husband, then turns spooky.
Ghost of a husband.
Y'all,
from what it was poorly described
ready.
to me before the movie even came out.
I need to watch that.
way.
Y'all are not ready. That's what I like though. Like, you don't want to go into those like knowing everything about them. I thought it was way more cool knowing only what I saw from the trailer. With that being said, that reminded me, I'm really glad that you brought that up, because did y'all see Malignant?
I was just about to say that. That was also a legit surprise. I did not expect to like Malignant as much as I did. I enjoyed Malignant. It was so fun.
It was so fun.
I still have not seen
it.
It's good. It
now granted, good.
That's my hot take, because there's some people like, it's dumb. No, you just gotta turn your brain off and have some fun with a fun horror concept. It's a really fun movie.
We need more fun horror.
Yeah, absolutely.
Malignant was fun.
Yeah, it was so fun. I enjoyed it. Just
you not seen it yet,
accepted
Alex?
it for what it was.
Why am I saying that? I haven't even seen it yet, but I'm surprised.
You got really defensive there for a moment. Due to unfortunate events, I watched the first part of that film. Due to unfortunate events, I could not finish watching it with the person who I started watching with. Kind of was slightly triggering at the beginning, so I didn't end up seeing it. That's why I was kind of like, it was fun. Because that like way first part ended up.
The first part's kind of dark, like the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
But once you get past that, and then as you find out more and more about what's going on, the more you're like, oh man, this is like crazy, but I love it.
So I didn't end up finishing it, and we had planned on watching it literally the last day it was on HBO Max. So then I never ended up watching it, and now I kind of been waiting for it to come back on there. So I feel like it'll be there soon.
They'll bring it back eventually,
right? Like I know they'll bring it back, so I'm just kind of waiting for it to watch it like alone. Yeah, that's why I was like, really? It was fun, but okay, yeah, it was fun.
My thing which I knew it was going to be good when it came out, but it still didn't change the fact that when I actually listened to it, I was like, man, this is too dang good. Is the Silk Sonic album. I never thought in a million years Bruno Mars and Anderson .Paak like would be such a dynamite combination, but the two of them are just really good together. Their voices are good together. Their styles match each other so well, and you can tell they just had a blast making the whole album. Like they just had fun jamming out with each other, and those are some of the best albums, is when you can tell like the people making it were just having a good time. That's why I love King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. Like that is a band made up of people who just like playing with each other, so the fun comes through the music. And Silk Sonic is just good. But also I'm a huge funk and soul guy, so
my main
album's
problem,
up my alley.
My main problem with Bruno Mars and that
album. I'm so ready to hear this. I have not listened to the album and not kept up, but I'm just like, the hot take. Let's go.
Is that it's too short.
It is really short. It's like you can get through. It's 30 minutes, I think.
It's
only
M. Night
30 minutes.
Shyamalan twist.
There's not enough. That's the
However,
problem.
I will say though, I don't know, because I have thought about that. I'm like, I like the album, but when I listen to it, I'm like, would I want to hear more of this?
Bruno Mars' last album was only like 8 songs too. So I'm like, if you gonna give us an album every 5 years, then please make more songs so we can have more to hold on to for the 5 years.
But that's how he's like holding on to you though, because you're like, give me it.
Yeah, because here's the thing. I would rather, because you know who else, like his perfect antithesis to that is Tiana Taylor's last album last year in 2020 called The Album. That album has like 30 songs on it. It is so long, and half of those could have been cut to put you like B-sides on another album or something. So it's like I would prefer quality over quantity when it comes to like an album, because it's like if I can get a nice album, yes, it's 8 tracks, but there's no skips, it's just good from front to back, I'll take that over an album that has 15 and I skip half of them because I only really like half the album.
I'm not big into music. I listen to whatever suddenly appears and I'm like, oh, I like it. But there is a show that I ended up loving actually, and it just hit me that I think everybody should watch, and I'm always surprised by the casting with it. Only Murders in This Building.
Oh yeah.
Steve Martin Short, Selena Gomez. First off, just those three are just great together. I didn't think they would be that good. Well, Steve Martin and Martin Short definitely, but like when you threw Selena Gomez, I didn't expect such like great like friendship energy and chemistry between all of them. And then Steve Martin, this man is like closing in his 70s and he's still doing hilarious stunts in the show. Like when he gets trapped in between those elevators, he's on the ground. And like it's such a good show, and it fits so well with the obsession that like everybody has with true crime podcasts. And just I loved it. Every episode I was so into. There was nothing I could really say negatively about it, and I think it shows everybody should like at least attempt to watch, because it ends up just being so good, and it's so funny too, and it feels so like, yeah, this is exactly what we would be doing, like with the fan fiction. And they're like, I love when they come up to Selena Gomez's door and they're like, hey, do you want to break into an apartment building with us, or apartment with us? And she's like, you want me to go looking for a dead body with you two? And they're like, yeah. And she's just like, okay, let me go get some gloves. I feel like I would probably do that, be just coming up to one of you guys, be like, do you guys want to go try to find, this evidence that we probably should not be doing? And like, y'all love me and would probably be like, yeah, all right, let's go. If anything, to probably keep me out of trouble, but so it's always appreciated. And I think that show is just everything about it. It had the dark humor, but it was so light, and also it had a vibrancy. Shows that tend to be dark stick with the gray tones, or the darker colors. They were still wearing like bright colors, and it was a beautiful setting, and the apartment was beautiful, and just I think it was just all around a good show for
I love so I didn't end up finishing it yet.
What?
I know, but I was on like, I want to say like episode 7 or 8, and I love the fact that
means you only had like 2 episodes to go. Commit, man, commit.
Hey,
I haven't seen it yet, so
yeah, same. I'm about to say I haven't even watched it yet. I've only heard it's good through you,
Jazmine.
Jazmine,
I think you would love it. I think
it's on the watch list. I just haven't. Like, I have a million other things I also need to watch.
I would say push that one to the top. I think you would just fall in love with the whole show so quickly.
I love that it's a comedy, but there's also like a murder mystery element of it as well.
Yeah.
And the Martin Short and Steve Martin are hilarious.
It's the Martin and
iconic.
Martin
I know.
Yeah.
Iconic.
I know.
I will say, thinking of shows and just in general, who's been legitimately surprising me this year as far as like content I watched was Disney Plus and Netflix. I actually enjoyed a lot of the shows coming at Disney Plus this year. Most of them Marvel, but also Star Wars Visions was cool. I loved a lot of the movies they put up there that year, this year. And then also Netflix, like despite the controversy, I still did like The Harder They Fall. Although I do agree, Jazmine, that the colorism thing is a bit like, the more I've like, every time I try and rewatch it, every time it stops me, because I'm just like, I don't want to.
Wait, what are we talking about?
The Harder They Fall, the Black Western that Netflix made with Jonathan Majors and Zazie Beetz.
Oh, that's right. Yes, where she was Harriet Tubman, right?
Stagecoach Mary.
Oh, okay, that's right. Okay, yes.
Yeah. So it's like I can't rewatch it. Like I watched it the first time, but I didn't know that these are real people. I thought these were made up characters. So it is a bit odd, but still, it still is a good movie objectively. It's just that's a separate entity. But even that, like I enjoyed that. I enjoyed Arcane. I enjoyed Squid Game. Really, even though it didn't really take off, I really wanted it to. I enjoyed Kate with Mary Elizabeth Winstead. That was a cool action movie to come out. And then also Gunpowder Milkshake. A lot of female action movies came out of Netflix this year, and they were all actually pretty fun, if not like really good. Because Kate was really good. Gunpowder Milkshake was just fun. Want to see more action movies of Karen Gillan as the main character. So like, I was surprised by the streaming services this year. They made some good stuff.
Yeah.
Also didn't expect that my favorite Marvel show this year would be Hawkeye, of all shows. Hawkeye was the best.
Yeah.
For me, there's some of the ones that we've talked about here. Loved Squid Game, like Jerome mentioned. Mm-hmm. Loved Invincible, which I was not expecting at all. But I loved it and cannot wait for season 2.
And 3. They're confirmed for both.
Oh, okay. All right. Then 2022, 2023. I'm excited. And then there's also in the Netflix realm, You season 3 of You. This was my absolute favorite season of the show. I just loved every single episode. I was invested in You season 3. And then some of these streaming services are coming up with these very unique reality shows, and HBO Max, and I'm all about them. I'm all about them. I gotta give them
Sexy
a chance.
Beasts.
We did review Sexy Beasts, although I have not watched it since.
Of course, I didn't finish. You think I went back for more of that? No, absolutely not. Are you kidding me?
The panda did duet us on TikTok.
That is true. She did.
Yeah. She was very nice. She's very nice. I got very drunk during watching.
We get weird attention because we also got the director of Sharknado tweeted.
That was for me though.
Right.
Remember that?
I'm crediting and taking all that credit because that was my movie. And you were mean about it, Jerome. Go on, Jonathan.
Listen, the best thing about me is that I always am me. Okay.
Oh, but when I go bad on Arcane because I didn't like it.
I had no problem with you not liking Arcane. I'm just saying the world is gonna have a problem with you not liking Arcane.
Oh yeah, because the world's doing great. I care what they think.
Listen, I'm just saying our first hate comment is from that video.
It's true.
Anyway,
so I'm just saying.
So some of these streaming services have been releasing, particularly Netflix, in the last few years, they've been releasing a whole slew of like reality television. HBO Max has jumped on board, and this summer they released a show called F-Boy Island.
Oh yeah,
I don't know if anyone's heard of it.
I want to watch it.
I have heard of it. I didn't watch it because I was like, I'm not the demographic. But
it
was kind of amazing.
Find out who the F-Boy is, right?
Pretty much. There's I think like 30 guys.
Why y'all censoring yourselves? Like y'all censor, like you censor yourselves at all.
No, the show is called F-Boy Island. The show is actually called F-Boy Island.
Anyway, go on.
But it like took off. They're gonna have a season 2. And people were all about it because it's 30 guys, there's 3 women, and half of the guys are self-proclaimed F-boys and half the guys are self-proclaimed nice guys. And each of the women, they're trying to find out who are the nice guys, who are the F-boys, and navigating the love around that. Nikki Glaser is the host, and she did a great job hosting. And I was thoroughly entertained. I watched it like a couple months after it was released, but I appreciated it in that sense. Yes, exactly. Also, The Circle, they released 2 seasons this year, which I was very excited about. They normally release only 1 season a year. So this year, I was very pumped that they released 2 seasons. I love The Circle. I can't get enough of it. And I was very happy to consume a lot of it this year. And the last thing I'll say is something that I've been watching recently that I've been really enjoying so far. Also on HBO Max. HBO Max has just been hitting it for me.
It's been doing good.
It has. It
works, yeah.
But along with Insecure, final season of Insecure, that's been fun to watch, even though people have been dunking on it. But I've been watching The Sex Lives of College Girls. It's a show on HBO Max.
Is that good?
Comedy.
I've been debating.
It's really good. So far, I've been watching it. It's really good. Everyone who I've talked to who has like finished it have said great things about it. So cool. It's a good show.
There's a movie that I was looking through our old list. That actually, Jazmine, again, you were on, was Judas and the Black Messiah. Which that movie went beyond my expectations, and I actually got to learn something too. Whenever I watch a movie and I get to actually learn real facts or historical facts or things like that, I always love, because that means I could take away more from it. And that movie was just so well done, and the characters fit so well, and finding out so much more about the Black Panthers in general and what was going on it was just a great movie all around too. That's
I also That you talking about that made me remember, not that this has anything to do with the Black Panthers. Did y'all watch Midnight Mass?
Yes.
No, I've heard it's
wanted
really
to.
good.
Yes.
Though.
Oh my God, it was so good.
I need to
I
write
heard it
that
was
down
really
as well. Oh
good.
my god,
It is so good.
That priest, Mans, is an actor. He acted his heart out.
He did.
Well, I've liked that dude ever since I saw him in Legion, and he was really good in Legion. So
I don't know if I've ever seen him in anything else. I would have to
He's
look at
kind of
his
obscure. He's like in
filmography.
random projects.
Yeah.
I can't think of what else he's been in outside of Legion and Midnight Mass.
Sheriff Hassan. He was my favorite. I just loved him.
In the show?
Yeah, Midnight Mass. He was my
I really like Bev.
I loved him.
I really like Bev. What an awful human being. Such a good character. Such a good character. It just every time she opens her mouth, you just want to bop in her face.
Oh yeah, but
so good.
all of them. Oh my god, it was such a creepy day. But like I love the sheriff was like the reason I stuck with it, because at the beginning was a little like, okay, I know I'm waiting for like the creepy part, but he as an actor and him as his character, I absolutely like loved, and I stuck with it because of them. And then finally that church scene alone was just, which I won't go into detail to avoid spoilers.
Alex,
but
most of the show is in a church.
That's fair.
Church scene.
Well, it's called Midnight Mass, isn't it? That church scene where they all drink from the Kool-Aid. That like,
okay, yeah.
where they all I'm trying so hard not to describe it in any way. They all drink from the Kool-Aid, and then they all are not who they are anymore.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite scenes, and I think the most well done scene, because it was terrifying and like just like, yeah, no, it was terrifying to me, but I enjoyed it so much. But that whole show in general was great.
A movie that didn't exceed my expectations, but it did meet them, and it intrigued me and inspired me actually to write my own tale. Is The Green Knight. That movie was interesting.
Yeah.
I
didn't see
it doesn't follow the tale, the original tale or poem or whatever, like to the letter, but it still was an epic story, and the way it was told, it was really pretty at times. All the acting was really good, and it just was an interesting movie, which, I mean, that's A24's bag, is always picking like projects that you wouldn't think would get greenlit. But The Green Knight was awesome. I actually did like that movie a lot, and I'm glad I got to see it when it came out, because I know it was barely promoted, and then I don't know how much it made in the box office, but I don't think it made like a whole lot of money. I think it just was like the people who saw it, but it wasn't like it blew up or anything, or bombed. I don't think either. I think it was just in the middle.
A movie that kept my expectations the same after I watched it to when I went into it. Godzilla versus Kong. That movie was exactly what I thought it'd be.
Still have not seen it.
Fair. I mean, the review is out, ladies and gentlemen. Go watch the Godzilla Kong review featuring Rob.
I was like, it's with our friend. That movie is exactly what you think it will be going in. And the scene, because somebody pointed this out to me, they're like, oh, watch the scene where Godzilla, is coming through after smashing some buildings, coming through the smoke, and it's about to be that final scene with King Kong and Godzilla. He looks like Reptar from the Rugrats. And now anytime I see just a scene from that movie, I'm like, he does. He looks like Reptar. Like the points are in the most perfect place. And now it's just Reptar to me. Still look great.
Admittedly, the blockbusters this year disappointed for me a lot. The only two that like exceeded my expectations were actually both Marvel movies, with Shang-Chi, and then at the time of this recording, I've seen Spider-Man. And Spider-Man. Like
Spider-Man,
those are the two that I was like, all right, like these are dope. But outside of that, every other blockbuster movie that came out this year, I was just like, what is going on? Are y'all drinking from the same pond or something? Is the water contaminated since the pandemic? What is going on with the writing?
So is this leading us into our disappointments?
I was about to say, yeah, let's get into the disappointment.
It's time to talk about Halloween Kills.
Oh, there we go. I was like, I started thinking about that movie, and I'm like, I bet that's the movie she's talking about.
So Jazmine, you weren't on our Halloween Kills episode, so please, we would love to learn your thoughts on Halloween Kills.
Go spoilers free.
Bad.
At this point, Halloween Kills has been out for like God knows how long at this point.
So bad. Y'all remember when she has the gun and then he opens the door and then the gun like turns around and shoots her in the face? That's when I was done. I have never in my life, like, I am so happy. I am so happy that that it was streaming on Peacock, because I'm not even kidding. If I had gone to the movie theater, I might have been that person to be like, can I get my money back? It was so bad. And like, that's especially disappointing because we went and saw Halloween,
You
like
did.
the one before that, and that was decent. It was like good.
See, but here's the thing.
It wasn't, like Friday the 13th 80 and they're like in space again or whatever. Like, I don't know, living at like Bezos's like camp on Mars or whatever, like, I don't know. It wasn't like that. I had expectations. And this man, like, I know that in our slashers, which is my favorite genre of the horror field, I know that in slashers, the killer is supposed to be like superhuman. But you're trying to tell me this man took out a whole mob like he Frankenstein, who only did it once, mind you. You don't get to do it in every movie. So
technically those other movies were not canon, so
that's
so what
true.
That was his.
What you're telling me, Jazmine, is you are going to be the first in line for Halloween. What's it called? Halloween Forever?
Halloween Ends.
Next year? Halloween Ends.
Here's the thing.
I'm gonna still go.
Yeah, I mean, you got to finish it. You got to finish the trilogy.
Right. We've gotten this
I would
far.
still watch it.
But here's the thing. Course. I said this when we were talking about doing the review for Halloween Kills, and I wasn't on the review, but I said this again. It never fails. Every time they reboot Halloween, they make a good first one. And then the second one, for some reason, is trash. I don't know, because it was like the first reboot was H2O, and H2O is pretty good.
No,
and then the one behind that is bad. It's not like the most perfect.
If we're comparing it to the one with the witch, come on.
Well, that was the whole point. No, that was the whole point of Halloween. It was supposed to be like a different story every single time.
Originally, yeah.
Different good story.
That's fair.
The witch is not the issue.
But like, I've recently, the whole H2O, like, wait, which one? That's the one with Josh Hartnett, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that was worse than I think everybody's remembering it to be, because I recently saw parts of it.
I mean, compared to the one that came behind it with Busta Rhymes out here.
I had like a full Halloween marathon last week.
I'm starting to worry about your reviews, Jazmine.
I'm just
saying, it was good.
It was not.
It was good. If we're talking about the movie that just came out 2 months ago compared to H2O, which one is your favorite?
The one that recently just came out over H2O.
Jazmine.
And I think this is the reason why, although don't get me wrong, that movie had a lot of problems, and I hated the mom character. I wanted to hit her so bad. She was just in the way of everything. And I was really hoping they just kill her off. But she's still alive. So I was upset by that character.
You don't like Judy Greer?
Not in that movie, no.
Also, that's the most offensive part of that movie.
I didn't say offensive. I just said I didn't like her. I never said offensive.
We're asking for your critique. And that was the first one you came up with. Yeah. Mine was the gun, which makes sense.
Mine, I hated the fact that
I didn't like that he got hit with the bricks. Yeah.
I hated the fact that she had the Now I'm remembering the part that I thought you were talking about the very. No, you're talking about the black girl.
Yes.
Well, you mean the
Also,
lady who just
yeah,
sat
how
there
you
and let a
gonna
light bulb
how
be
you gonna
shoved
do the
into her
black
throat?
character dirty like that?
You talking about that older black lady who just like she just stood there while he was just like, hold on, let me put this thing
No,
down.
the
she
young
did
black
it.
girl. I think she was dressed as like a nurse or maybe a cheerleader, something like that.
But
Nurse.
it took me out when Judy Greer had the opportunity to make sure the man was dead. She shot him once and walked away. After all these years, you're just gonna shoot him once and walk away and be like, he's
now
good.
You gotta unload the whole clip. You can't you can't take those chances.
And I said that
and she trusted that like little group, like, oh, we'll take care of him. Oh yeah, because you did a fantastic job beforehand.
See, Alex,
I'm saying it's not a problem. Just compare it to the two, one to the other. I will choose a new one.
Okay, but you gotta
compare it to
give them
H2O.
I'm just saying they do. H2O was cool for me personally, and then the sequel trash. Then they rebooted it again with Rob Zombie's Halloween, and that one was like not as good as like the original, but I still liked the stylistic choice. I thought it was all right. And then they made the sequel trash. This is then they this is the most recent reboot. They've done it again. They rebooted Halloween. First one was pretty decent. This one, by all accounts that I've heard from people I trust, is bad.
It is bad.
So I'm just saying, this is the Halloween pattern. It's the same reason why I don't get excited for Jurassic Park sequels no more. Like, they never are good because you can't recreate the magic.
Like the Jurassic
there wasn't
Park
really anything
movies,
that I
not
was
Jurassic
too
World.
like.
That was all.
There wasn't anything that I was too like on that I can think of. I bet our reviews beg to differ, but
I mean, I have one, but it's also because of the person mostly. I was disappointed in the closer, and more specifically, Dave Chappelle.
Okay, yes.
Okay, because of the controversy. Yeah.
Well, it's not even the
was that the name of the closer was the name of his special, right?
The closer was the name of the special. It's more just the idea of like I've always touted Dave Chappelle as a pretty smart comedian because he always knows how to like really well construct his jokes where there is a level of commentary behind a lot of what he's saying that is underlying in the joke, which all the best comedians can do. But Dave Chappelle seemed to be like one of the few who was still really doing it with his other specials. And it just seemed like I don't believe he's transphobic, so that's not my issue. My thing is more just like, you know, people look up to him. People look up to what he says or you know, appreciate what he has to say. And it felt like he was being very careless with that power and responsibility with not only the closer, but things he said after the closer in regards to the controversy too, of like not understanding that like no different than we give Donald Trump a hard time because things he says gives merit to certain people who can't think for themselves to do dumb things, whether that be racist things, sexist things, whatever. Dave Chappelle's the same way. It's like you saying certain things can make someone who really does feel that way feel justified if they're a fan, even if that, and like, you know what I mean? And so it's like that's kind of where I was coming from with it, where I'm like, Dave, I feel like you're being a lot more irresponsible than I know you to be based off of your other specials, things he said in interviews. I listened to his podcast in 2021, The Midnight Miracle, and that's a great podcast. He talks about a lot of great things in regards to life and fame and you know, people. So it's like, I know he's a smart guy, and to see him kind of, I don't know, maybe get so into his own world as far as like feeling angry because people are claiming that he's transphobic, and then just like to be kind of careless with his words and his jokes and things he says, especially the Team Turf thing. I
mean, yeah, you can be smart and still be transphobic. And it's not very unusual at all for a Black man of his age who grew up doing comedy like decades ago. You know, like I've watched all of his specials, not his recent specials, but the ones before that. And like his show, I've rewatched episodes of that in the past couple of years, and it has a special place in my heart. But it's like he's super sexist and like colorist and like all of these things, you know, like he's smart, but that doesn't mean that he's above critique.
Oh no, that's not what, yeah. That was, I think, the biggest thing, because there were some people like, even for me, it took like, I didn't know how to process it when I first watched The Closer, and then as I talked to more people and got some more perspectives of watching other people's reactions to it, it helped me form an actual opinion as opposed to just like being gut opinion about it. And it's just, I don't know, I feel like he's doing a lot of damage, whether intentionally or not. He's doing a lot of damage. And I was like, you know how you can tell it's bad? When Fox News, who I know for a fact Dave Chappelle don't support, is like we got your back, Dave. That's a problem. that's a serious problem.
I agree a lot with what Jazmine said, and I noticed that when I watched some of his newer specials, I didn't get to finish them fully because honestly, the sexism is very heavy with that too, and also it just felt like I could see the intelligence in his jokes, but his jokes were still very stuck in the old style way of the 90s and the 2000s, when people were not willing to speak up against when those type of jokes were made, you know. And it's just like that felt like there was no real growth when it came to his comedy. And with, again, Dave Chappelle, like I enjoyed his earlier stuff, I knew who he was, and he felt like he was comedy a little more advanced at times, and then now it just feels like you're not advancing in your jokes. It's the same joke over and over, and it doesn't feel like you're willing to grow more. And it's not about giving in or, you know, it's adapting and changing with the times. You can't make the same jokes you made in, you know, the 90s and the early 2000s and still expect to reach the newer audience who have changed their mentality. It's just the way of the generation as well. If you want to stay in fame in good light, you do eventually have to adapt your career and, you know, what you're staying on stage, because the people now who think that way are going to be like Fox News and those people, and then you're trying to claim you're not aligning yourself with them, but you actually are, and they're showing their support. That way it shows that, yeah, you may want to not say you're aligning, but you are becoming part of that group. And then you can't really be surprised when the audience of the younger generation and the younger generation, you know, are so outspoken and very verbal, and it's amazing. Gen Z terrifies me, but they are beautiful and powerful generation, and you know, when that type of generation speaks, it's heard, and I love that. So I'm not surprising he's trying to push back, but with a generation with as loud of a voice they have, he's gonna get a lot of hits back worse than what he's trying to give out.
So a little bit of the doubling down, like, whereas if, you know, it was never talked about again, then it would just die on its own, but it's kind of like restoking the fires.
That's where it's at. Yeah, where it's like, don't double down. Don't because I think his whole thing is, I want people to listen to me when I say. It's like, okay, but you're not listening to them either. Yeah. So it's just, if you're not listening and you're talking and they're talking and they're not listening, it's like all anyone doing is shouting.
That also does remind me of my mom. A big thing that came back, which shouldn't have, is Sex in the City. And now here we are or something. And my mom was telling me, she watched the first episode. She was telling me
just like that.
Thank you. She was telling me,
and now here we are.
Like, it's so stupid. She's like, they're trying to bring in these like woke situations, but she's like, but I was saying, I'm like, yeah, those are stupid, because if you're experiencing them, you're experiencing them. It's not going to be one big moment at every single time in your life. And they're trying so hard to push the show, but it's also like, well, no, you're either having the whole experience, you're not just having one singular big moment and then it never happens again. And that's what the new Sex and the City is trying to do. And
I heard about a scene that happened. I don't want to spoil it for anybody who might want to watch it, but it's in like the very first episode, at the end of the very first episode, something very crazy happens to one of the characters. And it's very unusual as well.
And they also took away like the best character, Samantha, who
Yeah.
was very outspoken.
Yeah.
Who was considered like a slut, but she was actually very outspoken. She was a very good friend, you know, all this stuff. And she was the only one who was like, I do not care about anything. I just want to live my life, which I appreciate. But yeah, I think with that, we need to move on from shows like that and like that and just move on to what the newer stuff is. And
just the new year.
Yeah, we need to, because I think, you know, try, like, I think it's this is skipping ahead a little bit, but thinking of things I'm excited for 2022 in that vein is like, I love Euphoria for that exact reason. Like, it doesn't spend so much time in the show trying to be like, this is like, here, we're going to talk about transgender problems. And now this episode, we're also going to talk about racism and stuff. It's like, nah, these are these people's lives. If you catch, like, and because we have a transgender character, you're going to see because of that, their life experience and things that come with being transgender and stuff like that naturally. It's not a thing of us trying to get woke points. It's just the character's transgender, so transgender problems are going to come up. And that's, I think, where media should be headed, is that it's just the more we have characters from so many different places and walks of life and genders and sexes and everything else, that you get to, it's not a thing where you're just doing it to like sell somebody something or get like bonus points because you included it. Like, it's a thing where we want this character to be promoted because we want to tell a story that involves a character from this point of view, from this perspective. The fact that it's someone who's part of a marginalized community isn't a selling point. It's just the story.
Well, that jumps us right into like what our expectations for 2022 is. There we go. And like what we're excited for, because Euphoria is something I'm excited for. And is it going to be their last season or no?
No. This is
it's only their second season.
Really?
It's just they couldn't finish doing second season 2 because of COVID. Because they were going to film
Insecure's last season.
Yeah, Insecure's last season.
Time is irrelevant to me, and I do apologize for that. I will say stuff that sounds like it's from the future when it's from the past, and just ignore
they
that.
Released like 2 special episodes this year, which were really good. One was just Rue, which is Zendaya's character, and then the other one was with Jules, which is Hunter Schafer's character. Also, Hunter Schafer got to write some for that episode too, because the whole episode is her in a therapy session about transgender identity and talking about feminism and all these other things. It was a really good episode. But this is now the official season 2. Like, we're gonna see the rest of the characters and everything.
I'm sorry, I was laughing in the middle of that because I just saw you taking a picture of Jack.
I'm sorry, but he's sleeping so cutely. I don't think you guys can see. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm a cat mom.
But I am excited for season 2, though. The trailer looks good. Sorry, Jonathan, I didn't mean to cut you.
Oh no, I was just saying I was excited for season 2. Jazmine, do you have anything you're excited for this year?
Yes, I'm very excited for the new Scream movie.
Oh,
it's my favorite horror series of all time. So I'm really pumped for it.
It's interesting how these reinventions of the old classic movies, they're just going with the original name. They're going like back to the original name. Halloween, Scream. There's other examples out there that I can't think of right now.
It's just I can't think of any.
Scream
right now.
Is one of the only ones, if we're talking about the classic horrors, that has kept really the main people for the most part. Like,
yeah, that's true. They have not.
Jamie Lee Curtis is back, but she hasn't been in all of the Halloween movies.
Mm-hmm.
I do say Scream, I feel like does it a little more right, because they don't try to like do the jumping the shark type of deal. They like know like if the person's just trying to kill Sydney, and like trying to create a story behind the murders and everything. So it's still this whole like the same style of like, we got to create the story, but we also have to kill Sydney because Sydney is now the unkillable character. You kill her, it's like you get the big points, I guess. So I do like that they kept that like same vibe for the story. It's not some weird like suddenly something magical or the the villain is inhuman or anything like that. They've kept it more realistic in a sense where in the first Scream she shot him in the head and it was like, yeah, you're not coming back from that. Which is a smart move.
Well, it's always different people with all the Scream movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well,
so it'll be fun. I just don't know because I haven't really kept up with Scream. So
I really enjoyed the Scream 4, was it? Yeah,
the most recent
the
one.
last one,
the one before the newest one coming. That one was surprisingly good, and the twist it had was like I was like, oh damn. That one again, I don't want to spoil anything. I suggest everybody go watch it because it was actually really good, and it had the actress. Her name is Emma something from American Horror Stories. The
Emma
last
Watson.
year.
Or no,
Emma,
sorry.
no, that's
Emma
Harry
Roberts.
Potter.
Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson. Roberts. There's a lot of Emmas in Hollywood, okay?
Just going through all them.
Yeah,
There's Emma Stone, Emma Thompson, Emma Roberts, Emma Watson.
I love Emma Thompson.
Emma M. I just made that one up, but thinking of Emma Watson, I am excited though for that Harry Potter 20th anniversary.
Oh yeah, that's coming on.
You haven't even
because-
watched Harry Potter.
Only
This is Pride
because
Brothers
now
Earth.
it's made me.
Yeah,
like, I have to
call him
watch
out,
it.
Alex. I
am
forgot
excited
about
'cause
that.
Yeah.
I love watching behind the scenes stuff when people talk about how.
See, Jazmine, this is why I need
Technically,
women
Jerome,
more on the
technically when
show.
this
I
gets
need you.
released, when this episode gets released, that will have already come out.
That's true, but you know
Comes out
what?
on
It
New
doesn't
Year's
matter.
Day.
I'm still gonna watch all these Harry Potter movies. That's the next thing that's coming to the first ones to die. Thing. You'll see.
Nice. And you're gonna do a review for each one.
Yeah, because I'm excited to watch the Harry Potter movies.
Yes.
Also
Do
because
it.
I am hyped for the new. I've been watching like the only Harry Potter movies I've seen are the Fantastic Beasts ones. And despite how bad the second one was, I am excited to see the third one.
I keep forgetting the second one exists. I did enjoy the first one.
Yeah, a lot of people
Dad-
want to pretend the second one doesn't exist.
I forget. I enjoyed the first one mainly because of all the creatures in it. I honestly watched it just because I'm like, I love the mythical beasts that they came up with. Those I enjoyed so much. I don't actually remember the plot or the story too much. I was just so entranced by the actual creatures. Yeah.
I am just glad that they kept them going because what is it? And I honestly think Mads Mikkelsen is a good replacement for Johnny Depp as Grindelwald because he looks like a person and not like a weird dude who's still rocking the frosted tips in 2022. So
I feel like you should read the books first or listen to them on tape.
I could do that. Either read or listen to them on tape. Well, you say on tape. I'll probably listen on Audible.
Tape. What is this, the 90s?
Some generations will never know why we say books on tape anymore.
Like
speaking of books, one thing that I'm excited for, my things that I'm excited for are kind of in groups. And one of the things I'm excited for is it's a movie that's coming out next year called Where the Crawdads Sing. It's based off the book of the same name.
Book.
Oh yeah, it's a good book, right? And it's starring what's her name? Daisy Edgar Jones. She was Marianne in Normal People, the Hulu miniseries version of Normal People, and so I'm excited about that. There's also a book. There's also a.
I was waiting for Jonathan to just go up like, who the hell is making noise while I'm trying to do this podcast? Jonathan, I'm going to be honest. I'm sorry to make a segue, but one day if you ever become a parent, I can't wait to see strict Jonathan. Like when you got to just put the foot down and discipline your kids, like because I can't see it. I feel like you're just going to be fun parent 24/7.
Be like Jekyll and Hyde. Just watch me push my buttons.
The day Jonathan takes the belt off is the day I'm just gonna be like, all right, well, I've given up on humanity. If Jonathan,
look, I got one right here. No. But yes, I'm excited for that. And also, there's a book called Leave the World Behind that I read this year. They're making a movie version out of it. It was going to star Denzel Washington, but now it was going to, Julia Roberts, she's going to star in it, and it was going to star Denzel Washington as well, but now it's going to star Mahershala Ali in it. And it's basically about a family who goes to an Airbnb in like the middle of nowhere. And then this other couple, this Black couple, they come and they like say, oh, there's stuff happening outside. We need to like bunk together. This is our Airbnb. We need to like stay here. And they just end up staying there and stuff happens. So I'm excited about that.
So up my alley.
Yes, it's exciting.
Is there a trailer?
No, but it's based on a book. So you can read the book, but yeah, it's called Leave the World Behind.
I think I actually have that book from the book of the month, right? I think I have it. Jazmine, I can always lend it to you if you want to.
It's good. So I'm excited about that.
Talking about adaptions from books to, well, the one I'm excited for from the comic book to a show is The Sandman by Neil Gaiman.
Yes,
I'm super excited for that. I've been reading the comics. I think Jerome, it was you when I mentioned that show first. You're like, get the comics, Alex. You really love them, and I did. I got into it. I have them now. They're great. Neil Gaiman, one fantastic author. I've enjoyed his work previously multiple times before, like Coraline. I think it's called Stardust. Star something. It's really good. All his works I've always enjoyed. Yeah. I have the book if you want to borrow it. And also Good Omens is coming out with their season 2. I love Good Omens. It is such a good show, and it has David Tennant and Christopher. Okay, damn it. I will remember his name in a moment, and he's one of my favorite characters. His name's, but his work in general has been great. So I'm excited for Good Omens season 2, and then definitely with The Sandman, which is all about the dream world, which I am not about the dream worlds, but I do like interpreting people's dreams and learning about them, because dreams in general are such interesting aspects to human nature, and how technically all of the faces you ever see in your dream are faces you have seen in reality. We technically in our dreams cannot make it up. And as a lucid dreamer, I've learned tricks to figure out when I'm actually dreaming or not. One is you can't count in your dreams. You can't sleep. And you will never have the exact amount of fingers, 5 fingers on your hand. You'll never have 5 fingers on your hand. If you look into a mirror, you have basically body dysmorphia in your own dreams. You will never see, if you try to look at your own self in your dream, your mind will actually change it, and nothing will appear like how it's supposed to. There'll be something off. You'll be missing something, or some things are added. I've studied a weird amount into dreams.
I'm curious how much of the Sandman will take place in the DC universe, because technically Sandman is
so it's supposed to stay out of it.
Like, okay, because I'm like, he stay out of it, like Batman and stuff. Like, so it's supposed to stay out of it, kind of like Lucifer did, which that show that was originally on Fox now is on Netflix. Was for Morningstar also is in Sandman.
Yeah, actually the original, well, not the original, sorry. The character that Lucifer was based on from that show actually comes from Sandman. And there's talks that if the Sandman does well, they're gonna have like, a crossover episode because over. And the Sandman's gonna be on Netflix as well. So, but I am just super excited for it. It's such a good thing. It's the King of Dreams, and he's in the 7 endless, worlds, and it's just, again, just all around. And I do love shows that show that different side of like reality and just different ways of like thinking. It's not just in the human world. And I'm, again, just super excited. Again, I've been reading the comics, and I love Neil Gaiman. He's just a wonderful, wonderful writer. in fantasy, in fiction, and everything. I love him.
I'm excited for thinking of comics. I'm excited for this Peacemaker show. Mostly because I loved Suicide Squad so much. I loved Suicide Squad. I have that on Blu-ray right
Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. Thank you. So I because I wasn't excited for it at first, but then after seeing the trailer, it looks like it's going to be more than just the John Cena joke hour every episode. It looks like they're actually going to do something with that character. So I'm excited to see where it goes. Like, now, granted, once I watch it, it might be like total trash. But for now, I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt. The trailers look good. I like James Gunn's writing. So I'm excited to see what they do with it. Plus, Peacemaker was pretty funny in The Suicide Squad. So it'll at least keep me entertained, like popcorn stuff. Also, while I'm thinking about Suicide Squad, also excited for the Suicide Squad video game that's coming out in 2022 as well. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Just because I'm curious how that's going to work. Because the premise of the game is that the Justice League's been taken over by Brainiac, and Amanda Waller sends the Suicide Squad in to kill all of them.
How is she still alive?
Well, I mean, it's a new universe, so it's its own thing. But it looks cool. It looks really interesting. It looks very funny. You get to play as 4 members of the squad. You play as Captain Boomerang, Harley Quinn, King Shark, and Deadshot. So I'm excited for that. I haven't had a video game to really play for a while, so that I'm really excited about. So it'll be cool. I'm excited.
Cheddar, we're not trying to get an R rating.
He's showing the backside.
He's showing the backside. He knows it's his best. It's his best feature, but I don't want us to get an R rating.
Also, and I'm curious, Jazmine, if you're excited for this. I was because thinking video games caught me there. Because the new God of War is also coming out next year as well. I'm excited for that. But also thinking of Vikings, The Northman comes out, and I didn't know what it was. The Northman. Have you guys seen the trailer for that?
I think I have.
It's the new Robert Eggers movie.
Yes.
And it's about.
I know what you're talking about. I didn't realize that that's what it was called. I feel like when I first heard about it, maybe it didn't have a title.
It may not have.
There's a trailer.
So the Northman.
It stars Alexander Skarsgård as a Viking who comes back to essentially not only for revenge against the taking of his land, but also
Bjork is in this.
Yeah, Bjork's in it. A lot of people in it. Nicole Kidman's in it. Willem Dafoe's
Anya Taylor-Joy in it.
She's in it. It's a very star-studded cast, but it looks good. From the trailer, I was like, I'm in.
I'm so excited.
I am down.
Dafoe, plus Nicole Kidman, Ralph Ensign, Ethan Hawke.
I am sure a lot of people are especially a lot of the people of the female persuasion are going to be really excited to watch the movie just to see constantly shirtless Alexander Skarsgård just walking around with the 12-pack abs. There has to be 12. The man's too tall to have just 8. He's got an extra 4.
I appreciate your efforts, Jerome.
I'm just saying. Jazmine, I'm sure she's gonna enjoy that. Okay, Alex, I'm sure you're gonna enjoy that.
I'm gonna switch from this topic. I'm gonna say. So we've definitely discussed it. I don't know if on the podcast, but definitely off the podcast. Oh, we have discussed it on the podcast, but Jordan Peele's new movie, Nope, coming out next summer.
See, I need to see the trailer.
I am so excited. I don't care about the trailer.
Excited, but I can watch the
movie right now without it.
When I first saw the poster and it just said Nope, I started cracking up and I was like, I don't know what this movie's about, but I do know that is something about every a person of color has said in a situation like that. They're like, nope. And I always go back to this one instance of the one time Lauren and Forrest heard something weird in the concessions after it closed down. They're like, oh, we're going to go investigate. I'm like, nope. And I'm like, you want to go Scooby-Dooing in there? Fine. That's perfectly fine. But I'm not going in there. They're like, oh, if you hear a scream, I'm like, I'm going straight into the theater with the 200 people and have one of them help you. But no. And when I saw that poster, I'm like, it's got to be something like that. And then when I saw a Jordan Peele interview, he's like, oh yeah, it's when people of color see a situation that's a little more terrifying and they automatically go like, nope. And I'm like, I just can't wait to see what the nope situation is. I'm super excited for that.
Yeah, it comes out July 27th. It comes out the day after my birthday.
Hey,
birthday present.
Just to get them out the way, we don't have to talk about these, but I just want to run these through a list real quick.
Same, so I'll do the same for mine as well.
Oh no, I just don't want to talk about them because it's going to take forever to talk about each one. But all my superhero movies, I am excited for. The Batman, it looks good.
The Batman. Side note, we have
Jonathan, you work for Warner Brothers now. Get me tickets. To the premiere.
We have the
so I can meet Zoe Kravitz.
we have the Batmobile in one of the exhibits from the Batman, and the thing is it's like as big as my apartment.
Cool.
Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Batman. I'm excited for Black Adam. Didn't think I would be until I saw that like first look. I'm excited for Doctor Strange, Multiverse Madness, favorite Marvel character. So I'm down. And I think the only one left on my list is I'm excited for Black Panther 2. Even though I have no clue at this point what that's going to look like, because Letitia Wright's out here tripping. But I'm excited for it. I am still excited to see what's in store. I don't know what it's going to be. Oh, and I just looked at the list. Also, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Super excited for that. I loved Into the Spider-Verse. It was really good. They just dropped the first look in like, I think, mid-December for Into the Spider-Verse. Still riding high on Spider Fever after Spider-Man No Way Home. So I'm excited for more Spider-Man. They got the new Spider-Man game coming out too in 2022. So a whole bunch of Spider-Man stuff going on.
I'm jumping on that superhero thing real quick. DC Super Pets, DC Legends Super Pets. I'm excited for that, where we get to see the perspective of superheroes from the pets, Superman's dog. And I believe he makes a bunch of shelter dogs actually get some superpowers too. And it looks so cute, just so freaking cute. Like I am like child-filled Glee style, where I'm just like, these pets are adorable. That Superman dog is like so silly and goofy, and I'm just like, he's so serious at the same time too. And I always think when I see the dog get serious, I think of my sister's dog, the Husky. Very goofy, very loving. She was a shelter dog. She took a minute to warm up to everybody, but there's just moments where she gets so serious, and it's almost like, what are you thinking about? What could be going on in that little head of yours? And that's all I can think about when that dog gets serious. I'm like, maybe she's contemplating the, League of Evil, or the League of X. Yeah, Legion of Doom, or League of X's as the Federation of X's. That was.
I am excited for it. However, for me personally, as soon as I see it, I will compare it to, because there was a cartoon I used to watch it all the time, called Super Pets. That was the premise. It was all the pets of the Justice League. It was Ace the Bat Hound, Crypto the Super Dog. I think it was Skits was the Flash's cat or something like that. He had a name. Like they all had pets, and they were all on like a team, and they would go on adventures and they talked. It was a very cute cartoon, and it was really good. So I'm like, if you can't be better than that, I don't know, because it's like they've already done it once, and it was really good the first time. So you got some competition. Usually try and look it up, see if you can find it. It was really fun.
I'll quickly go down my list, and then I'll spend a little extra time on something that I'm not particularly excited to see, but I have to make note of it. So the things I am excited for: Proud Family, Louder and Prouder on Disney Plus. I'm excited about that. So I hope Destiny's Child does a remix of the theme song. I wrote Prince Harry's memoir. That's going to get released next year, apparently. So I'm excited to read that and hear all the royalty, because they're not afraid to spill the royalty. So I'm excited to see that.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the subject of royalty, Bridgerton season 2.
Yeah, I just finished Bridgerton recently.
Oh, did you?
And I ended up loving it. I like period shows, and I knew I was gonna like this one, but I ended up loving it far more than I thought I would. It was so good.
Same. And the next one is gonna be the brothers' love story. So that should be exciting. Also I wrote the Batman on mine as well. And for my reality shows, Love is Blind, that's going to be released as well. The Amazing Race, that's at the beginning of January. They actually had to take a hiatus. They started filming a season, and then COVID happened, and then they had to wait like 18 months before they could finish filming the season again, and now it's finally filmed. Also, Celebrity Big Brother, it's been on a hiatus, but it's coming back next February, and I'm so excited. The last season, Tamar Braxton won. This season, it's coming back after like a 2-year hiatus, so I'm excited about that. So y'all won't hear the end of it from me. And the thing that I am not necessarily excited about, the trailer just got released this week. It's a movie called Death on the Nile, and people are calling it the most problematic cast in the history of cinema.
It really is.
I was excited when it was announced, and then I found out everything else about it, and I was like, "Why?"
Well, because when it was supposed to come out 2020. Like, it was gonna, like,
that's what I'm saying.
That was gonna happen. None of that was gonna be relevant.
Right.
This is also the problem with just throwing high-profile celebrities into these ensemble casts. Like, it's an Agatha Christie novel. We can put anybody in there because it's probably going to be good. That plot is at least figured out.
Right.
The ending is set and everything is like good to go.
I think they were trying to live up to Murder on the Oriental. Like, they were trying to be like, well, Murder on the Oriental, we had a whole bunch of stars. So if we're doing the sequel, quote unquote,
and was it
we gotta have more superstars. No, but I don't even know how they got greenlit for a sequel, to be quite honest, because I remember seeing the first trailer the first time for Death on the Nile, and I was like, I'm sorry, did y'all make enough money to justify making another one of these?
I'm honestly surprised.
I'm honestly surprised the first one like that much.
I'm surprised they didn't, especially after all the Armie Hammer stuff. I'm surprised they didn't do the thing where they reshot the movie or reshot his scenes with another actor, because they did that with All the Money in the World with Kevin Spacey, and they replaced him with another actor who ended up winning the Oscar for that role.
See, but I think it depends on how much money they spent, because like All the Money in the World, the only star was Kevin Spacey, like the major star was Kevin Spacey, so they could replace him easy.
Well, and
compared
I think
to Death on the Nile, you know. And
I think it might have been hard because it's an ensemble cast. They would probably have to reshoot most of the entire movie, depending on how much.
But you would also think they maybe have a better promotion style where they would hide him in like the previews and trailers, but they don't.
They kind of tried to. He's like barely in there,
and they can't.
Yeah,
already.
And Letitia Wright was in like one shot.
Well, yeah. Oh my God. But they also already released the first trailer where he's prominent, so it's not like they can
I think that's what I keep
that from the internet, like
because this will probably be like his last. This will probably be his last. I doubt his career is like over, basically. This will probably be his last movie. You can't come back from that.
Well, last major role. He'll probably still
last major role.
It just won't be like, AAA stuff like he used to. Yeah, it's that's the thing. And I was surprised they were even because I remember when they released the new trailer recently, I was like, I thought y'all were just going to cut y'all losses and just not release this movie.
Yeah, because that's what they did with, and I'm trying to look it up. That's what they did with A Rainy Day in New York. Oh, no, they actually did release it. Oh, never mind. My point
you would think that maybe they released it like quietly.
Yeah, because that's what they did with A Rainy Day in New York.
I think they spent
it was the Woody.
I feel like they spent too much money.
Well, that movie, The Rainy Day, that was a Woody Allen film, and after all of the Woody Allen stuff started coming out, they were like, let's apparently it only made 22 million on a 25 million budget. So obviously it didn't do well. So they released it quietly. And that had some big stars into that. Timothy Chalamet, Selena Gomez, Elle Fanning, Jude Law. So it had some big stars in it.
They didn't have Wonder Woman in it though. You think we're gonna let a movie Wonder Woman in it not be on the big stage? Hell no.
She does look gorgeous in that dress.
Damned.
She does look gorgeous in that dress. Like that is, she's
because that's the one person they've plastered on everything. She's
in all
like
fairness,
99% of the trailer is Gal Gadot. Like it's
in all fairness, she's just gorgeous.
She
I
is.
know, you almost forget that she's a Zionist.
Yeah,
a little bit.
It's definitely Nile is a weird scenario. I don't know what I would do. That's why I say
I
don't think I could ever be like a movie like the person who does distribution. It just seems like a hard job. I'll tell you the things that I'm like tentative, but only because I just need more information about is Lightyear, because I do love Buzz Lightyear and I love Toy Story, but the trailer has had no dialogue and I don't know what the story is. So
also, I don't know. Did y'all see like all the memes that came out after it dropped?
No.
Like where they were like, how come Buzz looked like he would turn off his body cam? Because he do.
But he's
you don't look like friendly Buzz from my childhood.
Ever.
Oh my god!
Right? Like,
well,
that's because Buzz Lightyear was never meant to be seen outside of the suit. That's why.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think I've seen the trailer properly. Then they show him outside the suit.
Mm-hmm.
Like
you see him just in normal clothes. Well, I guess in like a jumpsuit, but not in his like traditional Buzz Lightyear space suit.
Yeah, because we never see his hair. That's
right.
True. That's a good point. We never see his hair.
You never see him outside the suit. You just see him with the purple, like,
hat or whatever.
Head sock or whatever.
I call it that's like really helping the image now.
That's the traditional term in comic books when you see the, people who wear the mask like Gambit, where it's like up to here and then it cuts off with the hair, the head sock. It's a classic look. Yeah, I'm excited. I am excited for Lightyear. I just want to know more information first before I just outright.
Before you find out he turns off his body cam.
Also, I said it last year for my expectations, but it didn't come out last year. It's coming out this year. So I'm going to say it again. I am excited for Bel Air coming to Peacock. It's finally happening. They finally now have the cast. They've started filming. They just released like a teaser trailer a while back. It's not much. It's just the actor playing Will like swimming through a pool and trying to get to a crown at the bottom of the pool. So you don't get any information, but I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the show.
I'm trying to figure out. I understand it's a darker version, or it's more drama than it is comedy now.
Version of
but is it like just basically his story again, just in a drama sense, or is it like Will Smith is now Uncle Phil style, or like?
No,
I don't think Will Smith's in it.
Will Smith's not in it at all. He just produces it. No, this is a retelling
might do a cameo
of the Fresh Prince. He might do a cameo. It's just a retelling of the Fresh Prince story, but as a drama. So I don't even know if I'm sure they'll make up new episodes and new plot lines and storylines, because it also takes place in modern day. It doesn't take place in the 90s. So certain things will be different and more relevant.
I feel like there's going to be one episode with an internet scandal, because there always is for modern day telling.
I mean, I think they talked about the possibility of either Hillary or Ashley being like an influencer.
Good Lord.
It's a rich family. Of course, one of them has to be an influence. Yeah.
Yeah. Or on the subject of fashion person,
on the subject of Will Smith, I forgot to mention in looking back at 2021, King Richard. I enjoyed King Richard.
I didn't watch it.
I have not seen it. I did like the Beyonce song that dropped.
That was a good song. When the credits started rolling and that song came on, I was like, okay, yeah, I like this song.
Thinking of music, who like a person who's giving me hope, and I'm like, all right, this year, goddamn it, you got to release something, and that is Tierra Whack.
Rihanna.
No, I just said her name. Tierra Whack. She just released 2 EPs. They're pretty decent. I'm like, all right, that tells me you've been working on content. So that has to mean there's an album somewhere out there that's coming soon. She hasn't released an album since her like last one that's only 15 minutes long because it's 15 1-minute songs. So I need her to release an actual album now. The time has come. It's your time now. All right. Everybody in I think that was the 2017 or 2018 XXL cover has released an album at this point. Megan's on top of the world. Rico's doing her thing. The baby's canceled, but he don't count. Corday is dating, what's her name? Naomi Osaka. Everybody's doing well. Dang it, it's your time. Get on it. She's my favorite.
She'll get there.
Yeah, she'll get there when she's ready.
I'm so confident.
I'm just starving for more Tierra Whack content because I love her so much. She's my favorite female rapper right now, even though she has the least amount of content out of all the female rappers I listen to.
All right.
I think that's it. I don't think I have any other.
Oh, there's one more, and it's just because, well, there's a few more. I've been watching a lot of more Spanish films, and trying to support more Mexican artists and actors recently, and so a couple of them I'm really excited for. One is called From the Shadows. It's not Mexican, I believe it is actually Spanish and Belgium, and it's set to come out, I believe, in February. It's kind of like one of those all hope is lost films that you find comfort in, your family kind of moving forward and, doing your best to change old ways and become new and trying to, reconnect with what happened in the past, which is a lot I feel with sometimes people of color in general. It's reliving the trauma of your family in the past and like your parents and what they went through, especially in times of like the 70s and the 60s, and trying to learn and heal from it so you don't affect the next generation. So it's a nice movie that's going to come out soon, and it's very hopeful for me. So I'm excited to see that. And also, jumping from a whole nother direction, is John Wick 4. I am super excited for that, just because I love Keanu Reeves. I don't know why. I am in love with that man.
I know.
What do you mean you don't know why?
There's a lot of reasons. I'm like in love with him. Like
you and a lot of other women.
A lot of other people.
Fair enough.
A lot of women are in love with Keanu Reeves right now. He's
a lot of
cool
women,
guy.
a lot of men, like anybody.
He's like Austin Powers right now.
Keanu.
Women want to be with him, and a lot of men want to be him. Okay, the man is doing really well right now. He's doing great.
He's a good guy.
That being said, though, I don't know if I'm excited for John Wick 4. I think it's just too much. All right, the man has only survived off a few shots of whiskey and has been operating now for longer than 72 hours in these movies. How he has his dog.
That's all that matters.
Doesn't make sense to me. That don't.
He walked away with his dog, and that's all that matters.
With love, Alex. Okay, he fell from a building on the concrete.
I've fallen off a garage roof onto cement. It's fine.
That's not to say.
People survive.
That's not to say.
I was like 5. I was like bone.
Also,
I should also
Oh, sorry. I was gonna say there's 2 last HBO projects that I thought about just recently, which is one, House of the Dragon. I am gonna watch it because I am a Game of Thrones fan. So I'm excited to see what it is. I mean, I know it's a prequel talking about the
House of Targaryens.
But just like how it ties into the story, what's the relevancy, and why did you greenlight a show other than you need money and none of your other projects have taken off?
It's also 125 years before. And I thought the Targaryen story was interesting because it's that whole the gods flip a coin and either Targaryen is insane or not insane. And a lot of the movies of like medieval times or like Renaissance or stuff, it's about overthrowing a mad king, but this is kind of you're living and seeing how the king turns mad, basically.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that. Also, and this is only because I just saw HBO's like coming in 2022 trailer. Like it was a lot of stuff I already knew was coming out. Also, didn't know they were doing another Westworld season. I've kind of checked out from Westworld, but I guess I'll still watch it. But also, didn't know they were doing a series off the time traveler's wife, which I only know because I've seen the movie. I haven't read the book, but I'm curious how you turn that into a TV show and what it's going to be like. So I am actually intrigued to watch it, to see like what they do with it, because that's an interesting. I liked the movie a lot, so it's an interesting book to turn into a series.
The last one I'll mention, and then we can do our wrap ups.
I mean, a lot of stuff's coming out, so it's
it
episodes
is
and not feel like you're just kind of going on and on.
The last one I'll mention, and I'm not particularly like, amped to see it, but I just feel like I have a moral obligation to support it because this man cussed out the rest of the crew for not following COVID guidelines. Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible movie. I feel like we should all support.
He had the right to cuss them out, okay?
Right. If you have not seen a Mission Impossible, if you have not seen a Tom Cruise movie, this would be the one to support, rightfully so, because he cussed out that crew on
the fact that there's an Omicron variant right now is proof positive of why he had a right to yell at them. And we still in a pandemic. It's 2022.
Yeah. With that being said,
I would have yelled at them too. That would have been the time, Jonathan, you would have yelled at them. That would be the time when the belt was going to come off. If there was ever a time, Jonathan, I feel like that would have been it.
Right.
Ass whoopings galore.
All right. And on that note, actually, where can we find everyone on social? Alex, you go first.
I am on Instagram at Alex and Nobody, and I also handle a TikTok account, Alex and Cheddar, where I post little days from my office job and also where I post little videos of me and Cheddar. I also handle the TikTok account for the podcast at The First Ones to Die, which is also all our social media, Instagram, Twitter, and gmail.com if you want to send us off an email, or welcome to write any comments in the YouTube. We love, oh God, I sound like Jerome, the YouTube. We love reading those too. Any comments anywhere, we enjoy us. And what about Jerome? Let's go with you. Where can we find you?
You can find me at Not Jerome Rhett on Instagram, as well as at RoboZoo Media. At the time of this recording, I'm not sure if I am, but I'm pretty sure I am. Probably doing January. So to find that, another Instagram page that I've made, because this is going to be a whole other thing. Go to Jerome_the_show on Instagram as well. That's where all my music stuff is going from this point forward. So to hear some of my January stuff, you can find it up there.
Got to pass it on to the next person. There we go.
On.
I wasn't sure if Jonathan was going to do
at Jazmine Shiloh on Instagram.
Nice.
And Jonathan?
I'm waiting for my baton.
I'm saying, I got you. Jonathan, I announced you.
You can find me at Jonathan Keys on Twitter, Instagram, or wherever you please. This is our last episode for a second. We're going to be taking a little bit of a little breaky break. But we will follow us on social. That's even more incentive to follow us on social so you can know when we return for more exciting stuff in 2022.
In the meantime, thinking of expectations, we talked about a lot of shows and stuff. Comment below, tell us what you're excited for 2022, whether that be shows, books, movies, music, whatever it is, tell us about it. And also, while we are on this hiatus, if you have anything specific you want us to check out or review, possibly as it gets to the later into the year, you can email us at thefirstones-to-die@gmail.com. We do read emails and stuff like that. We'll try to get to them as best we can, as fast as we can. But yeah, let us know what you would like us to talk about.
And really quick, I do want to end on a little more of a serious note. I was not in the 2021 expectation one because I had just recently lost my cat. literally a day before. And honestly, I did not have a lot of expectations for 2021 because I was going through some serious issues, and it was a rough time for me. Luckily, I did get Cheddar, who you guys have seen multiple times, and he gave me a lot more new hope. And then also, I did want to thank you, Jazmine, for not only being on the show, but a lot of times I was able to socialize was because of events you had put together and thankfully invited me to. So I'm grateful to you and all that you've done for me for 2021 without, I don't know, you probably haven't realized it. And of course for you guys, because we have been going nonstop. And although it may have been exhausting, it allowed me to have something to focus on and give my attention to. And I just want to thank all three of you and all our friends, Lauren, Kaylee, Kaylin, just everybody, Taylor, just all of our friends, because you guys have not, I don't know you guys if you know, or if I probably haven't said it, but each one of you has kept me going through 2021. And with expectations coming for 2022, I personally hope I can give you guys back what you have given me this year.
Oh, you already have. Like, this has been amazing. This has been a great experience to do this podcast again and to see it grow to what it is now. When we started in 2019, I would just wanted to be able to sit in a room and talk about movies and stuff with my friends. And now I feel like I'm actually part of a team and a ever-growing family of all of us. I mean, we are already family because we all worked at the same place together and we saw each other every day and got to talk. But now it feels like, now that we're not at that same place, we all still get together. We all still share meals together, hang out, message each other, talk and stuff. So Alex, I appreciate you so much. I appreciate Jonathan so much. Jazmine, I appreciate you for sure so much. Like, I do mean it when I say you are like the unofficial fourth member. Like, you are always welcome here, but you are also always down to clown with us, no matter what the topic is. And so
I love y'all.
Yeah, it is awesome. So I am definitely very appreciative of the friends I have gotten from this podcast, but also friends I have made throughout this process in this podcast.
Same. I echo all of the sentiments that have been made. I love you all. And, just like we do this every week and somehow we never run out of things to talk about, which I think is a testament to the dynamic that we've created. So I think it's a really good, healthy, and fun dynamic as well. And, I'm happy to be a part of it as well. So did someone just turn on the AC? Am I getting misty eyed?
I know, I was cutting some onions down here.
Well,
That's why the eyes get a little misty.
Yeah, as we're on this break, I want everybody just to know that the love and appreciation for everything is there. And when we come back, I hope we can express it even more to you all.
Yeah, especially big thank you to anyone who's been listening, watching, commenting, whatever else you've done to get out to us. That helps so much. You cannot know how much that helps.
We see you, our Taiwanese listener.
I know we have one person in Taiwan that keeps listening. I appreciate you guys.
Yeah, we love you.
I love that. That's so cool.
And with that, we'll see you guys in about a month. Thank you all.
Peace.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.